Hey, what's up, guys? Had a little free time today, so I'm going to be painting two ghouls. My wizard just got to level 5, and she will be classing a necromancer spell, Animate Dead. Very cost-effective way to raise 2 meat bags to help establish a front line. My wizard has very low HP, so even though a zombie's armor class is like 8, they each have 22 HP, so that's adding 44 HP to the front line, and they'll hopefully aggro some people. But this isn't about playing wizards and necromancers. This is about painting miniatures, how I do it. And to be real with you guys, I use acrylic paint. I'm not looking to spend a ton of money on miniature paint, and maybe someday I will. Right now it's just not in my budget, and this acrylic paint I've had for a long time. I think I bought a big set of acrylics 3 years ago. Maybe I did a portrait of a cat where I used some acrylics, and I bought a big set. What I do is this is the lid to a peanut jar. I had some cashews. I'm going to make the skin for the zombie, and I'll just show you how I mix the colors. I like to think of like a base. I like to make kind of like a base color first and do the whole thing that base color. So this is going to be I'm going to try and make a dark green. I'm going to use some brown. Just got to use up the rest of this burnt sienna. I have to save a little bit though. I have to save a little bit of this because there's bandages. I want them to have like brown bandaging that looks similar to this. So this is probably way more than I need. So if you're looking at this, this is going to easily cover both of these miniatures pretty easily. This is quite a lot of paint, but that's okay. Again, acrylics are super cheap, and I've got a lot of them. I've got a glass of water here by me, just a regular glass of water with my paintbrushes in it. The difference between acrylics and miniature paint is that miniature paint is a little bit easier to spread, is a little bit smoother. But with acrylics, I just like to, it's okay if I get just like to hit some drops of water on there. So the water is going to help thin it out. The water is going to help it just glide on. Miniatures have little pieces of texture. Miniatures have small indents, small hollows to them that make them that give them detail. So that's why you want to thin out your paint, is so that instead of filling the crevasse, it just paints over it and fills it. So mix this up the best I can. Maybe I'll leave a little green on the outside there, a little of that lighter green as I mess around, as I make a mess in this peanut jar palette. And if you're watching this video as someone who paints minis a lot, you're probably cringing every second, and that's okay. If you want to share how you paint minis, I'd love to hear it. You can find me on Twitter. It's Lognarok, same as the YouTube channel. Twitter or Instagram. I like to post more on Instagram, the best. But just very fearless. Very fearless. I'm gonna do one more dash of water in here in the center. I'm just gonna tear it up. I'm gonna get some of that off though. Now I've just got a heap of green paint. And I'm gonna do the whole thing. And if you're wondering like, what in the heck? The reason why I do the whole heap, and I'm gonna add some water to it now. I didn't add any paint to the brush, I just added water. If you're wondering like, what in the heck? This is so that when I start adding detail, if I miss any detail, it'll at least be green in the background. And since it's a zombie, zombies are green. Therefore it will be green. All of it, even its undercarriage. I mean, hey, if I wanted to even just bring this zombie to the table, that's disgusting. Look at that. Even just that very thin. If you guys have been running a gray miniature at your D&D table, it does not. Look at that. It took me nothing. And if you sat down this green mini, if someone critiques your paint job, hey, at least it's painted. Just a thin coat of Gren. And I'm going to do that to both of them. Just going to dab. Just a little bit. Just that little bit of green is going to cover this whole mini. That's what I was telling you. I probably have way too much down, but that's okay. Just going to cover it all up. Pay no mind to the sheet of paper I'm using underneath. This was from a D&D campaign yesterday. I don't really... if I'm running out of a module this campaign. So I don't... Just grab a little more green paint. I don't really need that much more. I'm running out of a module, so I don't have to take that many notes. But I like to use this to keep track of time. When they take short rests and long rests, and when they start the adventure... When they enter the cave, they try and do other stuff, investigating. Anytime anytime someone wants to roll a skill check, that takes time. It's just a blink of an eye for us. It's just, yeah, you drop a d20, took 2 seconds. But if it's, I like to think if it's a really high investigation, if they're investigating, they roll like a 19 or a dirty 20 or even higher, it's pretty quick. Yeah, it takes you 5 minutes. You spend some time, or unless it's a high DC. If it's a high DC, maybe it'll take them longer. But if they roll like a 7, maybe they can still find what they're looking for. It just takes them an hour, you know. I'm sure there's more in the DMG about all that, but we're just painting zombies today. So now I'm just going to throw some water on. That's probably too much, but that's okay. I just wanted a thin coat. And so by dipping my brush in water and bringing it over, all those little crevasses we talked about, like in its kilt, and its little zombie kilt, you can see the layers a little bit better. Sometimes I like to blow the paint out of the way. That helps drip it down. They look like little toy soldiers. I might just leave them like this to be TBH. TBH, I might just leave them as these little toy soldiers. Yeah, zombie toy soldiers. Now I'm going to add some more detail to them. I think moving forward with these miniature videos, I will bring my camera out to make more of an establishing shot. I'll even paint the bases green. I'll probably end up just adding a little red and brown to the bases as well. But chill vibes. Touching the head kind of removed some of the Gren, but let's paste that back on. Alright. Set these up while they do a little bit of drying. I'm going to pick out some other colors. So I'm going to use this brown for their bandages on their arms. This burnt sienna. And I'm going to use some of this bright red for their tongues. At the end of this video, I'll show off some miniatures that I've done recently. I've only done about 20 total, and I've used acrylics for every one of them. And I thought it works just fine. Some people go out and spend a lot of money on paints, and one big thing that I like to do is show people that D&D is in fact one of the cheapest hobbies you can have. These ghouls I bought, the two of them were $5.99, but they were on the discount rack, the 60% off sale. They were getting rid of some of their creatures, so I got them for the cheap. Well, I'm gonna look at them quick. Since it was such a thin coat, they'll dry fairly quick. I think I might leave them this like sickly green, but now I'm gonna add detail. So he's got a bandage on his arm. Sorry, I'll move it down. He's got a bandage on his arm right here. This sickening creature. That's a good focus. While I'm doing this, I'm also watching Reign of Fire. Really great movie from my childhood. There's a very little amount. Oh, there we go. This is the scene where Matthew McConaughey does that badass thing at the end of the movie. Alright, you see just that little bit, just this little dollop of brown right on my finger. That's all I'm going to need to paint this bandage. But still, you want to give it some water. Ooh, and I still had some green on the brush. This is just to get some off. And then I like to twist it. Sometimes I twist it in my fingers. To get that point. Sometimes I twist it in my mouth even, and I have different colors stained on my lips, but it's just acrylic, and I'm certainly not too worried about having acrylic colors on my lips. Sometimes it makes my partner a little nervous when they see that. They come in my room and I've got 4 different colors dripping from my the crevasse in my mouth. You've been eating the paints? No, just sharpening my paintbrush. You know, I don't think there's really going to be a lot to paint on these ghouls. I want to keep it super simple. And I'll make their kilts brown too. We'll see now how that green is a little too watery still. So is this brown. I may need a thicker brown palette. We'll see. It's kind of making it gray now. Ugh. Mr. Ghoul pooped his pants. There once was a ghoul who pooped his pants. I have to say it's a bit weird painting over a camera. That's okay. I had a bright light shining on this earlier, but it was giving me weird screen flicks. Weird, like, screen flicker on the camera. There once was a ghoul from Naboo. His kilt looked as if he had taken a poo. He woke with a fright in the middle of the night to see that his dream had come true. It's disgusting. So, ooh, goodness. It's a lot more brown than I thought. I'm not going to add as much water to this acrylic now because I do want it to come out a little heavy. But I'll twist the paintbrush. Take a little bit of pigment. Such a tiny amount on there that you can see. And see how it's split like that? That's what I'm trying to avoid. So if you push it down and give it a little twirl. It didn't take it away completely, but that's just a dollop, a little dab, a little... Just hit the dab on this ghoul. Poopy skirt ghoul. Oh, yeah, they got foot wraps too. Maybe I should paint the bandages white. I guess I'll paint them brown first for this like dirty look. It's kind of a mucky job, but this is my first miniature stream and I'm painting over my camera, which is making it a little difficult. My first miniature video. I'll still probably post it on YouTube just for the content's sake, and if people like it, I'll notice that by the views. Zombie, my name's Ghoul. So they sound like. I'm gonna add the brown to this one. Adding a little water at the start. Again, the water just helps it fill in better. But this has. I used way more water last time for the first kilt. This one I have used less. It's clearly coming on very thick, and it's filling in the folds of the kilt. It'll drip. Just getting off some of the moisture. Now I'm gonna do a little bit. I'm gonna again I'm gonna get a point on my brush. It's not working. So sometimes using my mouth, using my mouth gets a real fine point to it. So I'll use that to take a little pigment from the brown. It's a little dot. That little dot goes a long way because this miniature has water on it mixed with the acrylic. If you are just watching this video while you paint, what are you painting? Leave it in the comments. If you like this video, hit the like button, that'd be cool. If you don't like it, just push the like button twice. Sickly looking ghouls. Okay, I'm gonna put some gray in my palette now, and I'm gonna go over the bandages with the gray. The gray already seems kind of watery, and I'm gonna use it to grab a new brush. Grabbing a new brush is good because now there's no green or brown pigment at all on this. In fact, it already looks like it's got gray in it. That might just be the water. Another thing when you're painting with acrylics, you have to be very careful. Your fingers will get water on them. And if you have such thin layers on your miniatures, touching them with water and moisture on your fingers is going to quickly remove whatever pigment you just put down. Just picked up a little gray on the tip of my brush. And since the brown is still wet, it's going to blend well with this gray. It's going to blend versus just stack on top, making it look more like a dirty old bandage. But that's why I'm not using any water for the gray, because the brown's got enough. The thin brown layer. And I might glob this on, just to really show that it's got arm bandages. I'm gonna have to let the skirt dry and do it again because I might have used too much water in my demonstration. But that's the fun part about painting these miniatures, is that it's relaxing. You take your time. I'm speeding this because I want to get it done. I also want to share a little video of me hanging out with some ghouls. Maybe I'll use a picture of them as the thumbnail to really get the lighting behind it right. Should figure out how to... Oh, there we go. Look at that focus on there. Oh, yeah, that brown underneath. You see his arm back here, his left arm. I did that brown layer first, and then I put the gray over it, and now it kind of looks like there's brown ichor. I still got to redo his kilt. I'm going to finish up the bandages on the other zombie now. I'm going to finish up the bandages, and then I'm going to go back to do the kilts. This is one that's got leg wraps. Trying to make that point. This one's had time to dry, so the gray is doing a good job layering on top versus blending. It's alright. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. So you just really have to rotate it sometimes to get that right angle. Lots of dead sound, I'm sure. I don't think I'll be putting a lot of time in production on this video, so there'll be a lot of dead space. But thanks for hanging out with me. Friend? Stranger? Yeah, it's time to redo the skirt. The kilt. I'm gonna, on my thumb here, just take the water off. Because there's already a little bit of moisture inside the palette. Yeah, it's just sliding right on. Why was the zombie not so brave? No guts, no glory. Maybe I can shop that joke to be a little bit better. Why was the zombie with a wound in its stomach not brave? Oh, it's starting to look a little bit better. This zombie has a tiny, tiny tongue. So I still gotta do some gray on the front. Gray on the front. Gray on the front. He's a zombie ghoul with some gray on the front. Hit a little gray on his nails. This might help make the fingers pop a little more. I'll probably do that with some red too. One second. Okay. Just that little red dot is too much. Oh, I still have to do his kilt. Take the excess moisture off. This brush is not the good one, but since the kilt is a pretty large surface and easy to do, it's fine. See how it's all mangled and it's very hard to get a point? It's alright. Ooh, that's thick as hell. God damn. I should find a way to get this in focus easier. There we go. Wow. Looks like pure shit. But maybe it'll be fine once it starts to dry. I'm gonna try and pull some extra moisture off. This one also has its dirty little tongue sticking out. It's really hard to do with the camera in front of me. Just put some red on its fingertips. So barely any red pigment, I might just like hit it a couple times. Oops, just washed it right off. Just making its hands look like it's got more gore. More gore. More gore on the hands. Maybe I'll put some bloody looking stuff on the ground. Like it's pooling blood. Zombie. Looks pretty good. A little red to this guy. Yeah, this is just a quick little. I got these again. I got these zombies on a discount sale, so it's only $2.50 for both of them. So it was like $1.25 for each. And I wanted to throw some quick paint on there because my wizard now casts Animate Dead, which just takes like a corpse and a pinch of salt or something. Oh, that's kind of cool. So I think if I bring my hand back and then pull the zombie forward. Camera's not the best. I mean, it's a great camera. It's a great camera, but not the best for focusing on miniatures when I want it to. Okay. How horrifying. Oh yeah, a little red. Take a really just thin amount of this red. Just cover the bandages with it too. Maybe some of the skirt, mix some blood in with its little, messy little skirt. I think I might be getting a little too carried away. The red. Backside's looking a little plain. What if we mix some red and some green? Make this sickening little brown. A little water to thin this out. Super green. Maybe I was a little too carried away to make him darker green. Although he is a rotting corpse after all. Definitely looks like a ghoul. So what I do is I blow on it, and that'll push a lot of the excess moisture. Oh, it actually looks pretty good. Yeah. Painting with the camera, I gotta keep it so close to my... I have to put it right in my face to really see what I'm doing. I can't do it with this camera in front of me, so... This setup, this miniature paint setup, will not be how I film going forward. Maybe I'll get like a forehead. Hey, forehead. Maybe I'll get one. Maybe I'll get like a little forehead mount or something so I can put it right up in my face. Give you guys a proper POV. Nasty little bastard. Oh. Probably touch up its skirt a little bit. I do have a little cream that I can add with my paints to take that shine off, that glare. But I use that for actual paintings, so I probably won't use it now. Let's look at the two different colors. We got a dark zombie and a light green zombie. I might leave them light and dark. zombies. That will be making the front wall. And then here is Mia, the necromancer that will be resurrecting them. They look like a good team. And then I have two forms of this wizard. That was Mia, and then this is the other Mia. This is her darker robes, pulling magic right out of her book. She's Order of the Scribes wizard, so she does a lot of cool book shit. Hey, buddy. This is my cat Murdoch. He wants to eat all the miniatures. I'm just gonna set this here. Here is a Minotaur that I did recently. They also have to be glued on their bases because I just painted them. The Minotaur looks super cool. I'm very happy with how the Minotaur turned out. The Minotaur. The miniature Minotaur. Running with his spiked morning star. It's an oxymoron to say spiked morning star. I have this guy, Siegfried the Impaler. That's a lance I made with a wooden skewer and tape, and I just slid it over the longsword. He's part of the Order of the Unicorns. And he's got a brother. Here's his brother's token. Mia. Get out of here, buddy. A little demon. He's like, ooh, something I can slap. Here's a little bit of the lineup. This is just what I've done recently. I've got probably about 10, 12, 14 more minis. Alright, you ready for the big one? This is the giant, fire giant. Also not glued on its base yet. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. Wish I could get it to sit still. There we go. Maybe I can bring it into focus. Thank you for watching my first D&D miniature painting video. I'm Lognarok. I'll maybe be doing more of these once I figure out a better setup. Sorry about the strobing lights. I think this looks horrifying, which is appropriate for these zombies that I painted. I use acrylics, and if you guys are also painting with acrylics, let me know what you got. Let me know your tips and tricks. Thanks.